But let's get more on this. We are joined now by political analyst Dr Zamo Mbandlwa. A very good morning to you, and I hear congratulations are in order. Happy birthday. I hear today you are celebrating your 21st, supposedly. Thank you so much.
I'm celebrating my 17th birthday today.
Yeah.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to the viewers at home. Thank you for wishing me a happy birthday today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, this is a very important point, especially in the politics of South Africa, particularly if you look at the struggle and the revolution in South Africa. ANC Women's League have played a major role in attaining the democracy that we have today. So we can never undermine the role that was played by women in South Africa, and even those who were outside in trenches or in exile for us to attain this democracy today. However, I want us to look into two things. Number one, there is the generational mix in the structure of the ANC Women's League. Number two is the role of women today in today's politics, because we cannot always hold back on the role that was played by women in the past. We need to move with time, and we must also allow those who are living in this generation to attain their own mission. Now, when we talk about the generational mix in the ANC Women's League, I don't see it happening because I think amongst themselves, they have a different interpretation of what is a generational mix. What I've seen now in those who are contesting, especially presidential positions in the presidency, which are referred to the president and the deputy president. Among the candidates, they are in their early 50s, 60s. So, and on the other part, when we talk about generational mix, generally in South Africa, we talk about people that are in their early 30s, late 40s, because those people are the future of the country. And I was hoping that the ANC Women's League will not commit a mistake that has been committed by the ANC in particular, of having many people who have reached the retirement age according to the Labour Relations Act in South Africa, but they are involved in politics. They are actually not contributing that much in terms of planning for the future, because the future belongs to young people.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, if you'll allow me to just interrupt you there, because attention has mostly been fixated on the presidential position, of course, previously occupied by Bathabile Dlamini, and her hopes to retain it. We're learning that those hopes may perhaps be dashed. Looking at that and that leadership situation, we know that factionalism has also come out at play here, with that discussion even broadening. In fact, we know that Baleka also, as a national convener, weighed in to warn against the dangers of factionalism, looking at what it's done for the entire organization. What is your take?
No, you are quite correct. You see, the factionalism in the structures of the ANC, or even the leagues and the alliances of the ANC, cannot be get rid of at this point, simply because ANC is in government and the leagues have a direct input on who must go to parliament or who must be deployed in various strategic positions in government. So that alone creates a situation where people are interested to serve in different structures, whether in the leagues or in the tripartite alliance, simply because they stand better chances to be deployed in parliament or in government positions. So this is the main reason. Now, let's say, for example, if the ANC Women's League was not actually considered when people are being deployed or do not have a role to play, people are not going to contest that much, because or rather, the contestation was not going to be high as we see it today. But again, you are raising you are talking about a very important character in the history of the politics of South Africa, particularly in the ANC Women's League, Umama Bathabile Dlamini. The role that she have played in the ANC Women's League was actually associated with characters or with people who are leading in the ANC. In the recent past, the ANC Women's League has been used by people to attain different positions in the ANC. If you want to contest a presidential position in the ANC and you are supported by the ANC Women's League, you stand a better chance. And also, if you are supported by other league, the ANC Youth League and the Tripartite Alliance partners, you stand a better chance. This is why I said to you earlier on, we need to have a look at the role of the ANC Women's League of today. Of course, we cannot get rid of the history, but let's have a look at what is the role of the ANC Women's League in the politics of today in a democratic society, where they are not going to fight for democracy. We are already democratic and people are already free. What is it that they are doing now to advance the interests of women in the country and also to advance women in various structures in government and even outside of government? So I think they are mainly preoccupied by positions and also by who is leading in the ANC and who is deployed in government positions. I think that's where the problem is. But again, we're not saying that it's going to continue or it's going to persist. I think maybe the outcome will give us something different compared to how the ANC Women's League have been performing in the recent past, or maybe in the past 10 years, if I may say so.
Yeah. Do you think, as you speak about the role of the ANC Women's League in the past and what we're perhaps looking at in the future. I mean, as of now, equal recognition within the South African political landscape. Do you think that the Women's League can transform into that voice that perhaps, when elections come and two females are trying to contest for the role of president, we have a strong Women's League backing them without factionalism being at play? Because, I mean, that's what we saw in the past, that factionalism ahead of the advancement of women. We also heard the ANC Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, yesterday telling the Women's League Congress not to seek guidance from men. And that, of course, also speaks to the equal recognition of women within the South African political landscape.
Yes, definitely, Paul. We will see that, provided there's a generational mix. The reason I raise the issue of the generational mix is because the women who are in the leadership positions, or those who are contesting, who are in their late 60s, early 60s and late 50s, they have a different way of thinking compared to those who are in their 30s and 40s today. Now, if you have a generational mix in the ANC Women's League, definitely those young ladies will have a different influence compared to those who are actually leading now and those who are contesting. This then lead to a better chance for the ANC Women's League to have their own preferred candidate and also to advance their interest and also to convince other people in different structures, because they have I think they have a better understanding of what women of today want, particularly those who are young. And they stand a better chance to advance their interest by ensuring that they mobilize their peers in the ANC Youth League, their peers in other Tripartite Alliance partners that are actually working with the ANC.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I said maybe it's difficult, because even those who are contesting, let's say for example, amongst those who are contesting now, if you are saying one of them might stand for a position of being the president of the ANC, there are less chances of that individual to actually win power in the ANC or become the president of the ANC.
Mm-hmm.
But if maybe young people, the ANC have many young women who are not in the lineup. I wonder why. And some of them are very active in the ANC and in the ANC Youth League, but they are not amongst those who are contesting in the senior positions like the president and the deputy president. I don't know what could be the reason, but I suppose the internal processes must be respected.
Yeah. Just looking at some of what came out of this conference, I mean, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula's remarks, and of course, really him not shying away from speaking his mind, warning the Pravin Gordhan to shape up or ship out, especially coming to when it comes to Transnet and the frustrations around trucks. What are your remarks around that? Because we saw the ANC almost trying to soften this with a statement around some of those remarks Mbalula made.
Yeah, I think the Secretary General of the ANC was not being personal when he made those remarks. I think he was actually referring to what is happening in the department. He was not attacking Pravin as a person, but he was actually raising his views as the Secretary General of the ANC, because when people in government fail, or when deployees in government fail, people don't look into those deployees, but they look into the ANC, because the ANC is the one that is deploying people to different government positions. Now, well, maybe the platform was not the correct platform for him to actually speak about his deployee, because they also have internal processes. They have, for him now to publicly say Pravin must shape up or move, then I think that's where the problem is. But I think what he has said was not personal, but maybe the platform was not a good platform for him to raise that, especially because he said he was with him. He should have spoken to him. He should have spoken to the ANC working committee, and also with the president as the Secretary General of the ANC. And also, I don't think they are actually referring to him only. Even those, not only him, even others who are underperforming in government must be dealt with, and he have those powers as the Secretary General of the ANC. But maybe the platform, as I've said earlier, the platform was not conducive for him to actually discuss the performance of his deployees in government.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Political analyst Dr Zamo Mbandlwa giving us a breakdown and some analysis of some of those remarks that came from ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula at the ANC Women's League's elective conference. Of course, we're expecting to hear some sort of outcome on the leadership positions throughout the course of this morning.